Greetings, it's your brother teacher Ajamu Minka Kafele. My fight for justice in the name and will of Allah. God is worth dying for you. Today we want to talk about where in the Bible Jesus spoke and gave a direct reference to Allah, God, being a man. And before I point this out and say this, it's important to understand Allah, God, as not being a mysterious spirit. I know there's a verse in there that says God is a spirit, and I've done a video on that before. And basically, if you look up the etymology of spirit, it means breath of life. If you look up the Greek version of that verse where it says God is a spirit, you'll see that it doesn't even read as it is translated in the King James version. So it's one of those revisions that is improper and off. So be that as it may, the breath of life therefore has to be in a body, has to be in a flesh. And so it's important to understand that God himself, God in his self-creation, is flesh as a man. Now, this doesn't remove God as the energy aspect that permeates through all of his creation. But we want to understand Allah, God, as a man. And furthermore, his first creation is actually the woman, but we'll discuss that at another time. Because if you understand Allah, God, as a man, and not a Negro man, okay, not a Negro man in the sense not as in black, but as in mindset. Okay, we're talking about a divine, highly divine being. And the reason you need this is important is because if you can truly understand and accept the truth that goes back in ancient history of the black man, of Allah, God being a man, then you can truly begin to understand your connection to Allah, God, and your ability to grow into that, similar to your father, and being a reflection of him, truly being a reflection of the image and likeness. And again, that testifies of God being a man, because how could you be in the image of God and God not be a man? He can't be a mysterious spirit and not be a man. But anyhow, here we talk about Jesus, and he's discussing here, he's arguing with the Pharisees. This is John 8:13. And he's in a discussion with the Pharisees, and they're talking about, thou bearest record of thyself, thy record is not true. And he goes on and says, Jesus answered and said unto them, though I bear record of myself, yet my record is true, for I know whence I came and whither I go. But ye cannot tell me whence I came and whither I go. Ye judge after the flesh, I judge no man. And yet if I judge, my judgment is true, for I am not alone. I am not alone, but I and the Father that sent me. Okay. So he's recognizing another person. Is it also written in your law that the testimony of two men is true? Two men. His father. Now, he's not talking about his biological father, which is truly a discussion for another time. Most aren't ready for that. But he's talking about Allah, God. I am the one bearing witness of myself, and the Father that sent me bears witness of me. Okay. They said unto him, where is thy Father? Jesus answered, you neither know me nor my Father. If you had known me, ye should have known my Father also. These words were spoke Jesus in the treasury as he taught in the temple. No man laid hands on him, for his hour is not yet come. So here's the point. Jesus in this verse, his true name is Isa. So I don't really like saying Jesus. Is really kind of a derogatory term, but I digress. And here, he's saying that he's clearly pointing out that his Father who sent him, and that if the law is the testimony of two men, that his Father is a man. Nobody's looking for a mysterious spirit right? And if you were to research anthropomorphic, or what's a better word, another more common word, if you were to discuss God as a man or as a human being pre 4th century Christianity, you would see that this was a significant understanding that permeated in Christianity, that God was anthropomorphic, or God was a man. And so Jesus is literally telling you here that his father is a man, because his father is able to bear witness and affirm the law of the testimony of two men. Two men, right? Now, some of you may say that, well, he's talking about himself, Isa, Jesus, or Christ. He's talking about himself, and then he's talking about God within him. So let's just say we go with that. Even if he is talking about that, then that God within is in the flesh of Christ, making God still a man. And many of you who are Christian or in the Christian teaching, the teaching is that Christ is God, right? Notwithstanding, he makes so much distinction throughout the Bible that there's a separation. But even if you're going with Christ as God, then you have to go with Christ meaning. Well, that's the Spirit of God in him, and that's a difference. Well, I just point out there is a distinct difference. He talked about there's a difference. But you're also talking about God being in man. And so we have to understand that God is a man interacting with us, guiding us, right? Or he's coming through a man, right? In the Christianity teaching, it would be Christ. Okay. He's coming through a man. And so there's nothing far-fetched about this truth that God is a man. The only reason that people are running around talking about God as a spirit is because there were Greeks that took on the teachings of some Jewish folks in history. This is the history that basically removed the anthropomorphic, or removed the human being aspect of God in the first place. Right. So that's literally how it changed. This is why it's important to understand history, in the actual facts of history. Right. You can't just rely on the Bible. That's the crazy thing about some of the Hebrew Israelites teaching. They just literally pretty much just rely on the Bible, or a source that really just reiterates the Bible. And you have to dig into the actual facts of history that are indiscriminate of what the Bible, because there's so many lies and misgivings in the Bible. When you don't understand what you read or how to interpret it. And so God is a man. Christ told you God is a man. Ancient history tells you a man. The Heliopolis creation story is is amongst the first creation stories that talks about the self-creation of God as a man. So we have to get away from this lie. We have to get away from this misunderstanding that God is some mysterious spirit. This is not removing the energetic force that permeates things, because we are energy as well. But it's to understand that there is no mystery God in the sky. There is a God walking around as a man, being a man, as you are being a man, or you are being a woman. Okay. And so get away from the deception, people. That is what the purpose of truth comes. Truth comes to destroy falsehood, knock out his brains so that it no longer exists. And the truth of it is that God is a man, or energy of that spirit dwells in a man, if you need to look at it that way. But you're still going to always be dealing with a man. Okay. And therefore, when you understand that, you can begin to walk in the truth of God. And it's important that we understand and walk in the truth of God, because if you aren't walking in the truth of God, then everything else ultimately fails. This is your brother teacher, Ajamu Minkakafele, saying, I love you if you're righteous. Can't stand you if you ain't. Let's all go forth and be more righteous. Peace.